unboxing and review of a Temu 24-string Lyre harp. Today I'm going to be reviewing an instrument that's quite unusual for this channel, and that's a Lyre harp. This instrument is quite weird because it sits between two distinct instruments, the lyre and the harp. Generally, you pluck or fingerpick a harp and you strum or play a lyre with a pick or plectrum, whereas the lyre harp you can play both ways. Generally, a harp is laid out so the deepest notes are further away from the player, whereas with a lyre the deepest notes are closer to the player. With this harp lyre, the shape is closer to a lyre, yet the strings are laid out so the deepest strings are farther away from the player. If you can play it left-handedly, you can play it with the deep strings closer to the body, so it's more like a regular lyre. Something all harps and lyres have in common is the fact that there's no frets, so you're just playing open strings, which means it's far easier to get a nice sound out of the instrument straight away, or at least theoretically. Obviously, this does depend on the instrument. If you get a really bad lyre or harp or lyre harp, then there's very little you can do to improve the sound. I got the one I'll be reviewing today from Temu, and it's listed there as being a 24-string portable lyre harp. Easy to use and learn to play musical instruments. In the listing, it looks really nicely made and a really attractive instrument. And I've gone for the one that they've described as log coloured, which I assume means natural wood. Hopefully, when it arrives, it'll look just like the one in the image, which is really nice. And I've made an arrangement with Temu where they provide me with the instrument and I review it. However, this doesn't prevent me from being honest, and I will be. If it's no good, I'll tell you. Temu have very kindly provided me with a link and a discount code, so if the instrument is any good and you want to buy one, you can get it for dirt cheap. I'll put that information down below in the description, but I'll also go through it at the end of this video. Right, let's get on with it. The unboxing. This was a first for a Temu order, because the box was in perfect condition. I've reviewed two musical instruments off Temu, and both of them arrived in boxes that looked like they'd been through a war zone. This box arrived in perfect condition, which bodes well for the instrument inside, because it should be in perfect condition. As usual, I'm speeding up parts of the unboxing, so the video doesn't go on too long or get too boring. And there you have the contents of the box. The lyre harp is wrapped up in bubble wrap, and we've got an instruction manual and some accessories. Let's get the instrument out so we can take a look at it. The bubble wrap is really well taped up, making it really hard to get off, and I don't want to use a knife in case I scratch the instrument. And there it is. It looks really nice, but before we look at it properly, I'll get the accessories out, because there's only a couple. And there we have the contents of the accessories bag. And we've got a spare set of strings, 3 picks, a tuning wrench, and a cleaning cloth. And separately, we've got a lyre instruction manual. The manual provided isn't a specific manual for this particular lyre harp. It's just a general lyre manual. and this is because it makes references to 10, 16, 19, 21 and 24 string lyres. And it doesn't give you any maintenance instructions or how to change a string or anything like that. And it suggests a tuning app, though it doesn't say which one because there's no QR code or anything. But there are a lot of good tuning apps out there. And as you're watching this video, you'll be perfectly aware anything you need to learn to do, like tuning the lyre or changing a string, you can find a video somewhere on YouTube how to do it. And if you can't already, you will be able to do, because I'll be making some in the future using this instrument. Now, whilst the manual doesn't give you any maintenance advice, it's very good for learning to play your first few tunes. There's quite a few tunes in there, and it explains in simple terms how to play them, and you don't need to read music and you don't have to have any musical knowledge. It's explained quite simply. Going back to the accessories in the bag, they've provided a full set of strings. That's all 24 strings, and that is a really useful thing to have. They've also provided a tuning wrench, which you'll find absolutely essential, and you'll probably use this before you do anything else, because you can't really play the lyre until it's in tune. And it's a reasonably well made wrench, so it won't break anytime soon. However, it is a little loose on the tuners, but it does work. The picks they've provided are just what you'd expect. They're standard plastic picks, and they're fairly hard picks, but they'll do the job nicely. And finally, they've provided a nice cleaning cloth, so you can keep the instrument clean. Right, let's move on to the main thing, the lyre itself. I'll just give you a good detailed look at it first. The lyre harp is made of some really nice wood, and it's been made in 2 pieces. However, the joint is really good, and in places you can hardly see it. I'm not sure what the wood is, but to me it looks a bit like mahogany. It's lacquered in a matte transparent finish, which shows off the wood really well. And the woodwork underneath is flawless. There's no nasty sanding, there's no sharp edges. The whole thing is smooth and perfectly finished. The shape is very curvy and organic, so the only flat parts on it are on the front and the back. And the strings go through the body, so you'd have to restring it from the back. The holes that the string go through have liners, and the only flaw I've found on the whole instrument is a couple of these liners are lifting slightly. This isn't an issue and it's not going to cause a problem, but I'll have to remember to tap them into place when I replace the strings. There's obviously 24 tuner posts, which are made of chrome-plated steel, and they're perfectly even and perfectly straight, and they're spaced perfectly as well. And they've got the name of each string laser engraved into the surface of the instrument. There's also a disc on the front of the instrument with the maker's name engraved on it, Molin. However, this looks like an afterthought because the laser engraving is really poor quality, especially when you compare it with the laser engraving on the body. I'm sure you'll agree that cosmetically it's really nice, and any imperfections I have found are so slight they're barely noticeable. It's a really nice, really well made instrument. I must admit, the instruments I've received and reviewed over the last few weeks from Temu have not been what I expected. The quality is right up there, and this one is probably the best of the instruments I've reviewed so far. It is a really nice instrument, and it's probably going to be here in 100 years' time. Right, let's hear what it sounds like. And sadly, I'm using the most primitive arrangement, but hopefully it'll give you some idea of how it sounds. Here's just a simple strum of the instrument, first down and then up. I held the video running for a while because I don't know if it came across, but it resonates for ages. Here's a quick look at the first tune in the instruction manual, which is Little Stars. And you can see there's two ways of writing down the notes they've put there, the numbers or also the actual note names. Now, I use a combination of both. So I'd find C4 first, which is 1, and 5 strings above that is going to be the G4. So you can either use the G4s and the C4s, etc., because it's written on the harp, or you find the C4 and then do it by the number of strings away from that. So here's what that sounds like. It's good the way they've broken the tune down into phrases, because it makes it easier to follow and to learn. I've been doing these tests with a pick because a pick was provided with the instrument, but if you prefer, you can play it fingerstyle. And here that is again, an octave up. To record this, I virtually had to perform gymnastics. To keep the lyre harp in frame and the microphone close to the lyre harp and then reach across to play it was a nightmare. But hopefully I've given you some idea of how it sounds. Conclusion. The overall quality, look and feel of this instrument is really good. It's really top shelf. The only imperfection on the instrument is where a couple of the string hole liners have lifted slightly, but these won't affect the instrument, they won't affect the sound, so I'm not worried about these. The sound is really good and it resonates really well and it resonates on. If you want to buy one of these for recording, you'll have to work on a way of recording it properly, because it's quite difficult to record. I think probably a contact pickup would be the best way of recording it. The only thing I didn't like, but this isn't a criticism of this particular instrument, but of the whole type of instrument, is they're very hard to tune. There's no gearing or ratio on the tuning pegs, so the slightest tiny movement can take it from being too flat to too sharp. So it's a real challenge to get it in tune. However, it stays in tune well. If you're looking for a new instrument to learn, this is a great choice because it's quite easy to learn. Part of that being because it's set into the key of C, so as long as you're playing in the key of C, you really can't hit a wrong note. And it'd be a great way of understanding the modal scales, as you could easily find them on this. Regarding negative points, the only thing I can think of is the fact that it's really hard to tune. And that's it really. If you're interested in buying this Lyre harp, I've put the links down below in the description, or you can go to Temu and type DUW7363 into the search bar and it'll take you straight there. But it's worth having a nose round whilst you're there really, because they've got a lot of lyres and lyre harps to choose from. Or if you use the QR code on the screen now, you can download the app and get this lyre for virtually nothing. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, please like it. And if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't done already, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified when I upload new videos. And I'll be getting back to guitar lessons soon, so anyone who's waiting for them, you won't have long to wait. And if you want to catch up on the existing lessons, you can find them all in order at www.ebooks4guitar.com, and there you'll also find the PDF ebook of all the lessons completely free with all the tab that you need. And you can obviously find the guitar lessons on my YouTube channel as well, and I've put the different courses into playlists. Thank you very much again for watching.